Shavua Tov, a good vach. Tonight's story is going to be about a famous rabbi whose name was Rabbi Levi Yitschak Of Berditchev. You know why? Because he lived in the city of Berditchev. Like many rabbis that are famous, he was tall, he was handsome, but that's not why he was famous. He was famous because, and not because of the books that he wrote, he was famous because he had an amazing heart. He loved other people, he loved his community, he loved the Jewish people, and he always managed to find something positive to see in them and to say about them. It was Erev Yom Kipur, a few hours before the fast was going to begin, when Rabbi Levi Yitschak let it be known that he's going to have a list in front of him on Yom Kippur. And that list will contain the names of people who are willing to give him a coin for charity. And for each coin, each name, he'll ask for a coin for charity. And he will keep that list in front of him for the entire Yom Kippur to pray on behalf of those people. That's like a good deal, to have such a great rabbi praying with your name in front of him. So immediately a big line formed in front of him. He had a table with a piece of paper and a pencil and a charity box next to him. People lined up, put in their coin, and said their name. My name is Yehuda Binyamin, the son of Miriam. And he'd write down their name, wish them a good year, and they kind of knew it was a done deal. They are sealed for a good, sweet year because the rabbi is going to pray, and beseech God on their behalf. It's going to be great. A long line forms. People weren't rich. They didn't have that coin very easily, but they found it because this was very special. There was a young woman with a newborn baby, perhaps 2 weeks old, and she was unfortunately already a widow. Her husband had died. And she came to the rabbi and said, please write down our names, but I don't have any money. I barely have money for food. Please write down our names and pray for us. And the rabbi uncharacteristically said, I'm sorry, you need to have a ruble for each name. The woman ran away and began to go house to house, begging, looking, borrowing, asking for money. An hour or two later, she succeeded in finding one coin. She came back to the rabbi and said, here's my coin. Please write down our names. She began to say her name and her son's name. And the rabbi said, it's a coin for charity for each name. If it's you and your son, I need to have 2 coins. And she said, Rabbi, it took me over an hour to get the 1 coin. Please, no one has extra money. The rabbi, again, uncharacteristically, I'm stressing that, shook his head and said, no, I need a coin for each name. So she disappeared, and again she went house to house, begging, trying to borrow, but nothing was to be found. She came back to the rabbi with the same coin and said, Rabbi, please, please. And I believe Yitzchak looked at her and he said, you know what? Your 2-week-old son is an innocent child. He's a pure soul. He has no sins to his credit. Just write down your name and give me the coin, and that's it. He doesn't have to be on the list. The poor widow almost fainted, and she recovered herself, and she said, Rabbi, if that's what's going to be, here's the coin, put down my child's name. Leave my name off the list, but my son has to be on that list. Now, before you write down, boy, what a rabbi. I hope not all rabbis are like that. Let me tell you what happens next. Rabbi Levi Yitschak jumped up from his chair with a smile, and he said, I've been waiting all day to hear these words. And he immediately turned his eyes towards God in heaven, to Avinu Shebashamayim. He said, Master of the universe, do you see how a mother is supposed to behave? Giving everything away for her child, not worrying about herself. That's what it means to be a parent, to have love and compassion on your children. You, God, are our Father. Avinu Malkeinu. You're our Father. Please show at least as much mercy and compassion to the Jewish people now during the high holidays as this little young lady shows for her own child. And with great joy, the rabbi went to the Kol Nidre service, sure that he had persuaded God to give us all a good year. But we're not all rabbis, and we're not all giving away so much money. The real point I would like to share in this story is how Rabbi Levi Yitschak looked at the people, how he looked at his fellow Jews in a good way, the way the mother was ready to give everything away for another person. If we can enter this season of the year looking positively at each other and finding something nice to say and nice to see in other people, that'll help prepare us to deserve the blessings of God for a wonderful, sweet, good year. Shavua Tov.